We'll hear one song before we go to the next session.
When the music plays, all lights stripped away, and it's simply gone. Longing just to break something that's of earth that will bless your heart. I bring you more than a song, for a song in itself, it's not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. King of endless world, no one could express how much you deserve. Though I'm weak and poor, all I have is yours. Every single breath, I bring you more than a song, for a song in itself, it's not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made. It's all about you. It's all about you. I kindly request everyone to kindly stand up. Let's just worship for a few minutes, for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go on to the schedules. We'll just say the simple words. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. Lord, it's all about you. It's all about you, Lord. Let's all gently say the song. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. sorry, Lord, for the things I made it. It's all about you. It's all about you. Shall we all say this? Here we go. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made it. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. When the music fades, all I stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I bring you more than a song, for a song in itself, it's not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the things I made it. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. మరువలేను నీదు ప్రేమ, విడువలేనయా నీ. Shall you all say this word? మరువలేను తండ్రి, మరువలేను నీదు ప్రేమ, విడువలేనయా నీ స్నేహం నే మరువలేను. నీదు ప్రేమ విడువలేనయా నీ స్నేహం. నీవే నా ప్రాణము, నీవే నా సర్వము, నీవే నా జీవము యేసయ్యా. నీవే నా ప్రాణము, నీవే నా సర్వము, నీవే నా జీవము యేసయ్యా. Shall we all say this? మరువలేను తండ్రి, మరువలేను నీదు ప్రేమ, విడువలేనయా నీ స్నేహం నే మరువలేను. నీదు ప్రేమ విడువలేనయా నీ స్నేహం. తోడు నీవే, నా నీడ నీవే, నిత్యం నా తోడు నిలచే చెలిమి నీవే. తోడు నీవే, నా నీడ నీవే, నిత్యం నా తోడు నిలచే చెలిమి నీ. బ్రతుకంతా నీ కొరకై, బ్రతుకంతా నీ కొరకై జీవింతును. నిన్ను నేను ఆరాధింతున్. బ్రతుకంతా నీ కొరకై జీవింతును. నిన్ను నేను ఆరాధింతున్. నీవే నా ప్రాణము, నీవే నా సర్వము, నీవే నా జీవము యేసయ్యా. together one last time. We'll say this. Maruvalenu Tandri, Maruvalenu Needu prema Viduvalenaya Nee sneham Ne Maruvalenu Needu prema Viduvalenaya Nee sneham నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం. Shall we all say యేసయ్యా యేసయ్యా అత్యున్నతమైన నామం దయచేయును ఘన విజయం ఈ భూమిలో నిరంతరం. దేవాని నామం అత్యున్నతమైన నామం దయచేయును ఘన విజయం ఈ భూమిలో. శల్వసి నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం. నీకై తప్పించిన హృదయం నీకై తప్పించిన జీవితం నీకై వెతికే నా హృదయం నీకై ఆరాట పడుతున్నా యేసయ్యా నీకై తప్పించిన జీవితం నీకై వెతికే నా హృదయం నీకై ఆరాట పడుతున్నా యేసయ్యా 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 అపాయము రాకుండా కాపాడువాడవు నేను ఆరాధింతున్. అపాయము రాకుండా కాపాడువాడవు నేను ఆరాధింతున్. నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం. Shall we all say this? నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం. యేసయ్యా 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 యేసయ్యా. Shall we all, with a gentle voice, shall we all say this? యేసయ్యా 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 నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం నన్నెన్నడు మరువనిది నన్నెన్నడు విడువనిది నన్నెన్నడు ఎడబాయనిది నీ నామం యేసయ్యా 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 యేసయ్యా
Kindly be seated. As it is a good thing to praise the Lord, how many times we praise and worship Him, still we are indebted to Him for our life. Now, once again, I invite Dr. Sunil Chandy sir to share the word of God. And again, I repeat, please write your questions on a paper so that they will be discussed in the third session. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Good to have met good to have met a few of you. Hopefully over lunch we'll meet the others. So in the morning session, I believe a few people came late, so I've been asked to just summarize. So as per the theme chosen for this morning's conference is restoration and reconciliation. We talked about restoration from the perspective of Isaiah chapter 58. We talked about what it meant at the time that Isaiah spoke to the Israelites, and many centuries down, what does it mean for us? So I attempted to fragment it to our daily life in a different era altogether. There are lots of similarities, and we have contextualized how we, as children of God, as followers of Jesus, continue that sentiment of restoration in our practical lives. So, we will now do the second part. Hopefully, this will be a little shorter. Restoration is one, reconciliation is the other. You know, it's possible to restore somebody's life without reconciling. The two are in many ways different, but in many situations, the two may be mixed. One will dovetail into the other. So, this is something that I have found very important in leadership, because on a daily basis, you will get hurt as a leader. This is not something that I expected, but I experienced this, that we lost friends, we made new enemies, we created misunderstandings by way of your work, and it becomes a big burden. Sometimes you feel, is it worth it? But then I have read many quotes where they have said that if you are in leadership, you will be attacked, you may be assaulted, you will be misunderstood. It's part of that journey. Time will not permit you to share my experiences, but I've understood that reconciliation, not just because you are affected, but as a leader, you are also expected to help people reconcile. Very difficult journey. But let me quote from 3 verses in the Bible. One is Matthew 3 episodes, which is very clear to us. Matthew chapter 27, verse 3, okay, where you have Judas who betrayed Jesus. We're not sure whether he always wanted to, because he was actually chosen by Jesus as part of his 12 inner circle. But as he lived his life, somewhere along the line, he maybe have misunderstood, maybe he was jealous, we don't know. But towards the end of Jesus' journey, he decided that he will betray him. I think Jesus knew. Definitely he knew. He was even invited to share the meal where he said, just go ahead and do what you have to do. He betrayed him. Did he reconcile? I don't think so. He regretted it because he went back to the people there and said, here's your 30 pieces of silver. They said, no, we don't want it. So obviously he was regretful. But as we understand, he could not muster enough courage to go back to Jesus and said, Lord, forgive me. Instead, he went and hung himself. Then you have another disciple, Peter, who also betrayed Jesus. He was told that you will betray me 3 times. He said, no, 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 no way, absolutely no way, and all that. He did it. But as soon as the third cock crowed, it suddenly, what did I do? So it started with regret, and we know that he reconciled with Jesus. We'll go through that experience. And then we have another story later on the cross, where you have 2 thieves on either side of Jesus. One made fun of Jesus, and the other one said the opposite. And we know the conversation on the cross between Jesus and the thief, what happened. Let's look at that in a little more detail. Let's look at that passage where the other criminal rebuked him. Don't you fear God? He said, since you are under the same sentence. We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Then he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus answered him, truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise. 2 thieves. We don't know who robbed more, but both of them robbed. Both were punished. Both were crucified. One thief had no regrets. The other thief had, about what he had done. He recognized who he was with in the center, the man on the middle cross. And he pleaded with him, Lord, when you come to your kingdom, remember me. In that sentence, there is regret, There's a review, there's a regret, there is reconciliation. How many of you have heard of this preacher who's, forget his name, Scottish preacher from Cleveland who's got messages, it's called The True Word. He gives a very interesting description of how this thief reaches heaven. And St. Peter asks him, what are your qualifications? Are you a member of the church? No. Did you attend Sunday school? No. Do you believe in the Nicene Creed? No. What on earth are you doing here? What in heaven are you doing here? He said, the man in the middle cross told me to come. So I want to tell you 6 steps to reconciliation, which I have put together from what I have understood about reconciliation from a biblical perspective and from very practical perspectives. I know many people who have said, yeah, I've forgiven him, I prayed, and the Lord said, forgive him, I've forgiven him. But the next time you meet that person, he's still full of anger. So there's a glossing over of this process of reconciliation. Very easy for us. No, I prayed and the Lord told me, do this, do this, do this. I've forgiven him. I'm moving on with my life. The relationship is not re-established, not restored. There's no restoration. That is very ineffective for us as Christians. There are 6 steps to a full process of reconciliation. Let me take you through each one. The first is regret. If you don't regret what has happened, that's the first step. If you feel you've done okay, where's the question to reconcile? So when we do something wrong, there comes a time in our life when we say, that was not good. I made a mistake. I need to do something to compensate. There's a genuine regret. May not be known to others, but in your mind you're miserable that such a thing happened. I did this. I fought with my friend or my spouse. I cheated. I was not honest. I shouldn't have done this. That is the first stepping stone to the process of reconciling. That's the picture. This is Peter, who, when the alarm bell rang 3 times, he suddenly woke up. My God, what did I do? I was warned that before the cock crows 3 times, I will betray you, Lord. I did it. I think when he did that, he was overcome by this fear of being identified with Jesus, or the fear of being crucified, that he blurted it out. And then he realized, I've lost everything. Regret is the first step. Matthew 26:75 says, and he went out and wept bitterly. Okay. It's a good thing to weep when you are regretful. May not be literally, but have that spirit of remorse and regret. The second step is recall. Now, I have learned through some of my leadership experiences that you cannot gloss over a series of events when some decision-making process has led to a lot of calamity, misunderstandings. I said this, he understood this, he said this, he recorded this. And then say, just close it. We won't go into the detail. Let's just, put our hands and forget it. It will not work. The painful part is to go over it. Once you are regretful, you will be able to go through those steps with the person who is offended in a mature, impersonal manner. There's no shortcut to this. So if you are two siblings who are squabbling over a property dispute or inheritance, or in the church where you've got ideology differences, it is good to sit across a table prayerfully and say, Lord, I said this. No, you said this. No, I said this. Well, that is what I've understood. I'm sorry. No, but you wrote this. Okay, I wrote this, but that is not what I meant. All these sins of assumption. You know, there is something called the sin of assumption, which causes lots of relationship problems. We assume silence meant this. We assume that his words meant this. And then that becomes the basis for our bias. And then we react accordingly. There's no truth in it. It's all our assumptions. Therefore, it's necessary to do a recall. Whatever you remember, whatever has been recorded, sit across and say this. If it takes 3 sessions, let it be done. You know what you do when you do that? You're actually washing away all the dirt. And you'll find that you can reconcile better. I'm sorry, brother, I misunderstood you. I'm glad, brother, I've understood you now. Because I thought you said this, I thought you meant this. The process of remembering and recalling all the events that surrounded that misunderstanding is very, very important. Recall. The thief did that. In that moment when he was hung, quickly he recapped all the things that he had done. We don't know that. Who he stole things from, who he cheated. He was a thief. He was under punishment. But he quickly went through and realized that what he did was wrong. And then that conversation came. What are you talking about? You've been punished. I've been punished for what we have done. What has this man done? So you see, he gets a perspective on right and wrong. He gets an insight into his own deficits. And then he tells Jesus, sorry, God, please help me. Remember me when you come to paradise. Which means he knows his destiny. So he did a recall silently in his mind, quickly, like a quick reel going fast forward. The entire life he recalled and said, I made many things that I have done wrong. Lord, forgive me. Because in Luke 23:41 it says, we are getting what our deeds deserve. What better way to express a confession that they were on the wrong path? The third step is to resolve. Once you've gone through the motions, we get down to resolution. Okay? Resolution has got 2 parts. One, the part that came before, review of the entire sequence of events, and an attempt to reset the whole process. Okay? Resetting is what? Like your computer, your phone starts going haywire, finally you put the reset button. It's an opportunity to re-establish restoration of your old relationship. Okay, everything is washed away, the slate is clean. Today onwards, we are brothers, we are friends. It's pressing the reset button so that a new chapter begins in the lives of both the parties. It's an effort which will require you to talk, to communicate. Both review and resolution necessitates open communication, honesty. If in the process of resolution you are again trying to hide something, may not work. It's like two children. You see, our kids, they fight like crazy. They bash each other up. Okay? But evening they are together. It's gone. There's a new chapter, a new day. That's how God is with us. Every day He resolves to re-establish relationship with you. If He doesn't, then we'll be in real trouble, let me tell you that. So you resolve, which means you make a resolution that we have begun a new chapter and we will take this forward with a new flavor, a spirit of brotherhood, a spirit of camaraderie, on a mission to do something different. Okay? That resolve is what helped this thief to say, we are punished justly. Remember me. I want to be with you, Jesus, when you come into your kingdom. I want to take your mission forward. Allow me. I am determined. I'm resolved. I'm resolute about it. That's step 3. Step 4 is restitution. Again, seen in organizations and in leadership circles, that you pass a minute. It is hereby resolved that, this problem has been sorted out. Okay? Minuted, number 23 bar 024 bar over. But the people who are affected are still grieving. So one of the ignored steps of reconciliation is restitution. The best way you can express that, brother, I've forgotten you, sister, I've forgiven you, okay, is to do something positive that overwhelms all the experiences before that. So again, you're beginning at a new wavelength to reconstitute what you have lost, if it's possible. It's not giving you a flower, that's very symbolic. But if it's possible to do anything to demonstrate symbolically that, this is my gesture of saying that I want to establish a new relationship with you, that's called restitution. If you have denied somebody a position in your organization and you're reconciling, give that employee that position, if possible, or something else that has equal value. To that person, that's a statement of your resolution that you actually mean what you are saying, and it helps to reconcile. Otherwise, it's an academic exercise. Very easy to do. Pray, resolve, pass a minute, done. That's not how it works. In our families, what do we do? Immediately, what do we do? When we patch up, we have a meal together. Right? Hey, let's go out for a meal. That's the simplest gesture of restitution. You'll never do that if you have a problem with people, right? Would you ever call your enemy for a meal? That's the power of how much food. I'm not talking about, a feast. I'm talking about a simple breaking of bread as a symbolic surrogate for re-establishing relationships, restitution. Now, this morning we heard Brother Sukumar in his devotion talk about this conversation between Peter and Jesus soon after that fishing episode. Actually, if you connect what they did at that time to the betrayal, you will see how it corresponds. Okay? Now, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And there was a period that lapsed before this happened. And here's Jesus asking Peter, do you love me? Yes, Lord, I love you. Is there any need to ask 3 times? But he asked him again, do you love me? Yes, Lord. You know I love you. Again he asked him, do you love me? Peter's getting slightly irritated. Lord, why are you asking me? I love you, Lord. Then follow me. Head to head, there was a cancellation of that, I believe, restitution. And then Peter goes on to become the head of the Christian church. You see, from a betrayer to that level of being the builder of a Christian church. Divine restitution. My sheep, feed my sheep, feed my sheep. Now, Jesus doesn't tell him, keep loving me, keep loving me, keep loving me. His mandate for him is, you feed my sheep. If you love me, then feed my sheep. Now connect this to what we saw in the morning. Isaiah complaining that their fasting and praying was superficial and hollow because they were not reaching out to people. And throughout the New Testament, the message of Jesus is this: reach out to people. If you want to love God, you love your neighbor. That's the message. Fifth is, it doesn't stop there. It will finally dovetail into a relationship which is better, stronger, more powerful than what it was before. Peter's relationship with Jesus enhanced after that, in contrast to Judas, who went and hanged himself. And that relationship is eternal. He is the gatekeeper of heaven. So in our reconciliation process, we must move from this level to this level in terms of our personal connects and also what the world sees. Then only the witness is complete. Hey, we've seen some transformation here. They were sworn enemies, but now they are friends. They are like brothers. They're inseparable. It must converge onto a relationship. Luke 23:40, you will be with me. Jesus turns to that thief and says, you will be with me in paradise. You were in prison. You were on the cross with me. You regretted, you reviewed. Now you'll be in relationship with me forever. Okay? Again, in John chapter 21, 3 times that Jesus reinforces that relationship between him and Peter. Finally, you need to rejoice in that process of reconciliation. If reconciliation is only a formal activity of making a resolution in your minute book, if reconciliation is only a formality to satisfy yourself that I have prayed over it and I have forgiven, I'm moving on in mind, it is hollow. The relationship that you have rebuilt must be a cause of rejoicing, which means next time you see that person, you feel like an embrace. You can chat freely, you can exchange pleasantries, you can visit each other. There is nothing hidden. And you want to break bread together. You want to go out together. And the world sees that there is rejoicing in the process of this reconciliation. Now, if you skip any of these steps at our level, it is not complete. And let me confess that many times I got stuck at one point or the other. But I realized that you have to be, and it is seamless. It's not that today I will do regret, next week I will do recall, not like that. It's a seamless process which you may not notice where one is ending, one is beginning. But two milestones you can keep in mind, the first and the last one. If the reconciliation has not had a regret, at some point in time say, yeah, what I did was okay. Means you've not really regretted and there's no rejoicing at the end. Then I think the process of reconciliation remains a little inadequate. So that's the rejoicing. And for us, what is that rejoicing? In the biblical context, it is to understand and appreciate that as God asks us to do in the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our faults, sins, trespasses, as we forgive others. We say that every day, sometimes 3 times a day. Do we practice it? Is it just a ritual or is it actually very deep? Is a question that we need to constantly ask ourselves. Sup with me. John 21 has got all three. If you look at, I don't know whether it's by divine providence that Dr. Sukumar chose that portion for devotion. That whole episode where Jesus comes and realizes that he's sensitive to the fact that his disciples are struggling without catching fish. And he prepares a meal for them. Sup with me. Come, let's have breakfast. Bring the first of those fishes you've got. I will cook for you. And then he turns to Peter and says, feed my sheep, feed my sheep, feed my sheep. And finally he tells him and everybody else, follow me. And there's great rejoicing in the fact that these very hard-nosed disciples, remember, many of them were very cynical when they started their journey. There was a Thomas who doubted. There were times when they all the 12 disciples ran away at Gethsemane when they saw the soldiers coming. Even from the recorded events, we know that they were skeptical about what this was all about. But at the end of it, there was great rejoicing. They became from hard-nosed disciples to firebrands who then took God's gospel to the far ends of the world. So from Eden, okay, where this whole thing began, the whole need to regret, recall, review, resolve. In Eden, everything did not happen. But that was the starting point of this whole journey to the cross of Calvary, where it's so beautifully demonstrated through the thief story and the episodes before that with the disciples, that we as human beings are bound to make mistakes every day of our lives, whether it is in our homes, our communities, our churches, and the organizations, or your leadership circles. We will rub people on the wrong side. We will be assaulted and attacked, misunderstood. And it's not possible to keep collecting that and go forward in life. There's a process of reconciliation that is necessary to again do the restoration that Isaiah talked about. And it is so beautifully said in Matthew 5:23-24. Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, understand that it says that if your brother or sister has something against you, not if you have something against your brother. Leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to them. Then come and offer your gift. So God values your reconciliation more than your gift. Whether it is money or in kind or your praise without doing this, or your fasting, as Isaiah said, that it's necessary to reconcile to all you think have wronged you or all you think you have wronged. The truth is that if you apply this, you'll never be able to go for communion. Because there's always somebody you have not forgiven. But we still do in our human weakness, saying that after I take the bread and wine, I'll go and say sorry. Does it happen? Never happens. Yeah. Which one? This one?
Reconciliation
No, I'm talking in general.
in general, but Jesus is believers. This is it actually reconciliation in the church? Definitely, the other person is on the same ground who will understand. But sometimes reconciliation with worldly people,
Yeah.
how it will work?
No, I
And
think
just we can from our side we can reconcile, but at what point? If it is some legal disputes or something,
Yeah.
great
Good question.
disputes,
So I think what
in
you are
those-
alluding to is we are talking about these things from what happens to us, but from a biblical perspective. If we did not have our faith base, we will not be even talking about this. Correct? So that's the basis of how we relate to others. Okay. Now, to the question of whether the other person has reviewed and are willing to reconcile is a practical problem. You may be willing to reconcile, but the other person may not be. Correct?
they will draw something negative
Correct.
out of this
Correct.
reconciliation. Actually,
So there's a one word called compromise. It is not reconciliation. Reconciliation is an active bilateral process. Compromise is when you buckle. Your boss tells you, you do it. This is the way it's done in our organization. You feel differently. Okay. You buckle under pressure. Or you don't buckle under pressure, but you, okay, theek hai, chalta hai. It's all right. That is compromise, which may go against your faith, may go against your own personal values. Completely different. We won't talk about that. But to the question that you're asking, how do we unilaterally reconcile? It is not possible because the steps require a binary relationship. Regret is personal, but to review and to resolve, you have to have the other person. So what I would do, ma'am, to answer your question is that I would approach the person or persons. Say that, look, brothers, sisters, let's talk about it. Because I feel bad about whatever has happened. To which the response may be, no, it's all right. You try again. They might say, yeah, we are thinking about it. At some point in time, they will come forward. If they don't come forward, even after repeated attempts to resolve and reconcile, then the only thing left is go back to God and say, God, I'm helpless, but I regret it. You help me to resolve this. You'll have peace of mind. Because there's nothing you can do to influence the other party's thinking, right? Then it becomes a singular prayerful process where you've tried your best and you put it to God through prayer. Said, I now forgive him, although things are not forgotten. Okay? And I believe that at some point in time, they will come to say, yeah, you had offered, let us sit down and talk. Okay? I believe that will happen. It may not happen also, but at some point in time, we will come forward to say, let's talk it out.
People will conspire against the people, those who want to stand for the truth. So, in those situations, I think reconciliation, definitely the other person is filled with the evil intentions. Uh, and what I believe is Jesus mentioned this in the context of the same believer background. But coming to the people who are outside, because we are in the common platform, so there is a Bible which can speak with us. But for them, for the other,
Yeah.
and there is no law for them. There is no word of God with them.
Yeah.
Definitely, whatever we do to reconcile, that will further. They may take it as that there is
You have
fault.
an agenda. You
No,
have
no,
an agenda.
agenda and fault is from our side.
Yeah.
We are trying to.
I tell you honestly, it doesn't matter. Even if they think that the fault is, you are trying to have an agenda, you have some other plan, let them think you are sincere about the fact that you want to put this behind you and reconcile. So, although it is difficult, but you should not bother about that, what they think, because you're being very, very sincere about it. Okay, that you want to do this. Now, again, I want to emphasize you should not come down on your ethical values. Once you do that, it's not reconciliation, it is compromise. Okay? So I understand what you're saying when you're dealing with a situation where the other person has an opposite value system or a faith. They may not look at it the way you look. But my own few experiences with people from other faiths are deep down they appreciate. They may not say it, but they deep down they appreciate. I have many patients who come to CMC and they don't declare that they are Christians. But they come to you and say, Doctor, we've seen something different in the hospital. Why? Why is it different? That's your opportunity to say where you come from, why you do what you do. Okay? So that's the answer to your question. Okay, so I think maybe that's the last slide. Yeah, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
I'm from actually working in Kadapa as HOD and of ENT. In my place, previously it was a department of only giving certificates.
Only giving?
Certificates.
Okay, medical
For-
certificates.
Yeah, that is giving for this deafness. Somehow by God's grace, I've been restored. I have a team who is always praying for me. That is my wife and all. Therefore, today it has become number one. Because one thing is first prayer. Second thing, I have a lot of enemies there started because
That means you're
they,
doing your job well.
yeah. Therefore, the it started like that. But one thing which I made is, as you said, the restitution. I make at least once in a week there will be a food will be there served for everyone, right from the low category to higher category. They say that when Dr. Bhaskaran is there, food will be there every week. There will be a special food will be there. This I make and make everyone acquainted so that they have to see their faces. One has to, and have different categories. I am the only Christian as a faculty. Others are all different. Therefore, there are my anesthesia professor and others are. They say that what happened to this ENT? Everything is going like anything. Now we have somewhere 20 tons of AC is going on, even in the OP and all. Therefore, how come this is going on for him? I clearly say that it is my God. Openly say, because I have established now my brand is Jesus. My brand is Jesus. Therefore, they know that he is a Christian. Therefore, these things come to me. Therefore, somehow to bring. Therefore, I had a fight with my anesthesia professor, even with surgery professor.
Your wife is from anesthesia, no?
Yeah,
Yes, no?
yeah. My wife is anesthesia professor, but with an it's surgeon and everyone, because we are in the same camp, I mean, in the OT. Therefore, everyone, why only for ENT everything is going? All the new things are going for only for the ENT.
Yeah.
Then I told, see, I represent every day to each and every person who are in the higher categories. I go there, I request, I stand in the, collector office, I go to the different places and get things done. I never, most of the HODs, they never work. They sit and they do only the paperwork. But personally, I see the OP, I see the OT, I go to the everything. First thing is, we have to establish ourselves. That is my first thing. We have to see that we are not like, lazy persons. That's what I made myself. Therefore, first we have to work, we have to read, we have to be thorough with your subject so that we teach our students. Because once your brand has been established, then people outside also will recognize. I made that. Second thing, then I go and be humble with every higher authorities for getting things done. So these things, therefore, one of the superintendent, they came to, someone asked, why you are giving everything to the ENT only, why not to us? That person never just put a paper and go away. He sees that the paper is been done. And at last, when he get the thing, then only he will leave our office. Till that time, he will be roaming here only. And then he will take the thing and then he will go and, there was no single table for the operation table. All the 4 tables were not in a operating table. Now today all the 4 tables are operating table. Like that I brought new microscope, everything has been done. But one thing is, this made everyone envious of me. Therefore they started against me. On New Year day, I called that madam. She was a surgeon. Therefore she was angry with me. I told just, Happy New Year, madam. She was so angry with me, she started blushing. Oh, she started telling every one person that this man has talked to me. And recently, even with the anesthesia professor, same thing I did. And he became so friendly that the cake was being cut by the principal. He pushed me, sir, you be in the front. You'll be, so that things is that this we have to establish not only in the church. That is my perception.
Workplace
We,
also.
in the workplace, wherever you are there, you have to show your Jesus at any cost. That should be your motto. Unless otherwise you have that, you will not reconcile, you will not restitute, you will not ask others. if your ego is going down, then only you will come out with it.
Yeah.
That's what I realized.
No, what you've excellent. I think it's very inspiring to hear your story. So this is what's called living your faith.
Yes.
Now, all that you did comes out of your faith.
Yes, exactly.
It's because you follow Jesus. You
Yes.
put this in practice,
And there is above all,
and everybody knows.
no, there is a prayer.
Yes,
that is
there's
my
a
wife.
of course. Yeah,
My wife and a team, they
Yeah.
pray every day
for
for me.
wisdom and
Everything, for
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
They are backing me.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it was a department which was just put outside the
Yeah.
whole hospital.
And
Now
all the
it has
people
become-
watching you are from other faiths.
Yeah.
They know that you are succeeding.
Yes.
They also know why you are succeeding.
Yes.
So, ma'am, that partially answers your question.
That's what I want to tell that.
That, it is about many opposing factors to which he reconciled them unilaterally, okay, by living out what he believes are mandates from the gospel. Treating people with love, no bias as far as hierarchy is concerned, from the lowest to the highest, and a great believer in food, ministry of food, right?
Yeah.
Ministry of food.
So all 9 years went well. Now they
Now
made
you've
me
got
to
a lot of enemies.
No, no, yeah. No. In the department itself, they put papers against me. 5 times I stood before the committee, and someone law college principal and everybody in the committee.
Celebrate.
Yeah. So many times they made me to cry.
Yeah.
But I want to come out, but God asked me, no, with a purpose I made you to stand there. Till I say you have to be stand there. So that report also they gave positive, but they are not putting it out.
Yeah.
Because there are other pressures. Yes, definitely. So in these times, reconciliation. You are speaking with about the reconciliation, sir. So I believe sometimes with the definitely we can say hello to them. We can wish them, but going and they are doing intentionally. If something is doing intentionally, you cannot change them. So in those scenario, I believe better not to touch those events, because they are, in spite of knowing something good, they are doing intentionally. They want to bring, for example, if I put a request paper to something to happen in the department, it is a request paper. For that, they gave me show cause notice, abetting,
Yeah.
dishonest, and other word they used something. Based on these things, why don't we take action on you for putting a request letter to facilitate corneal tissues for the corneal transplantation? So whatever you are doing, again it is turning back towards you in a negative manner. Anyway, we can give an answer to them, but they cannot do anything.
Yeah.
But reconciliation, I believe this is in the context of the same ground people,
Yes.
not in the context of the,
Yeah,
because
not-
those who are doing
Correct.
intentionally, we better
See,
not.
there is not much of reconciliation here because it's very unilateral. Reconciliation begins with you when you have a regret. Okay, this is what you're describing is all officialdom, where you need to survive, okay, in the face of such kind of behaviors, which is there in all organizations, rat race or competition or jealousy, whatever you call it. But as far as you are concerned, you are at peace because you are doing the right thing. So this is actually not a pathway for reconciling. Reconciling is when there is a grief on both sides, and you start by feeling very regretful and feel that you have to re-establish that relationship. So you start off that journey.
Matthew
Restitution.
5th chapter.
Yes.
Matthew 5th chapter you mentioned.
Yeah.
If somebody has against you,
Oh, like that.
yeah,
Okay.
in that context, just I'm.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, see, everything is not literally applicable, but the spirit is applicable. Okay. When possible, Okay, that's why I said if we were to apply this every Sunday, you can't take the communion. But the spirit of that is important, that, yeah, if I have something against a brother, at some point in time, we must reconcile, we must review, and that's the message. Okay, not in very mundane departmental scenarios that may not be applicable. Okay. Okay, so I'm done. If there are any questions now, we can discuss, or any opinions also, need not be questions. Like, yes, please, by all means.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Afternoon, we are having the QR code. They can post the questions there,
Okay,
not individually.
I have to reconcile with Janaki.
No, the thing is, మీ క్వశ్చన్స్ అన్ని క్యూఆర్ కోడ్ పెడతారా, అవి పోస్ట్ చేస్తే అక్కడ డిస్ప్లే అయితే ఎవ్రీ వన్ కెన్ పోస్ట్ దేర్ క్వశ్చన్స్. అది సుకుమార్ ఒకసారి కనెక్ట్ చేస్తే మీన్ వైల్ మీ ఫోన్లో నుంచే మీ క్వశ్చన్లు పోస్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. అప్పుడు అన్ని కలెక్టివ్గా చెప్పడానికి అవుతుంది. ప్లీజ్.
If God is with us, who can be against us? We have to be living gospels, and we should be and we will be in whatever place God has placed us. Without regret, there is no joy. Thank you, sir, for presenting before us the 6 steps of reconciliation. Let us all ponder over our lives to see in which areas of life we need to reconcile and live a life faithful to Him. Thank you. Let us go for a brief lunch session for a period of about 20 minutes. Let us take this opportunity to interact with one another. Thank you.